Hey everyone, this is Dr. Leila Galban, and in today's video we're gonna be talking about word association. In a previous lecture we talked about the premises and the key terms in the field of word associations, including, if you remember, the definition of some terms such as word associations, semantic network, mental lexicon, lexical relations, paradigmatic and syntagmatic relations, and many other issues. In today's video, we're gonna be discussing my paper, which is in your book. It's the second chapter in your book, or second paper in your book, on page 76. And in this lecture, we're gonna discuss briefly this paper in terms of its purpose, its main theoretical framework, and its data, and also data analysis, discussion, results, and so on and so forth. Here we go. Yes, this is a paper. This is the title: Word Associations in English and Arabic, putting the cognitive and the culture together. And this is the abstract. Every paper starts with an abstract. Of course, the title, and as you see the title, it has two parts. First part is word association in English and Arabic, and second part, you see, and I'm gonna talk to you later on about what are the characteristics of good titles of academic research papers. Okay, and dissertations. Then we have the abstract, and in the abstract we discuss very briefly what is the main purpose of the study, and what is the framework, theoretical framework, the methodology and the procedures that have been followed in order to collect data and to analyze data. And also the abstract gives us brief mention of the main results. Okay, I'm not going to talk about this. Inshallah, at the end of this lecture, we're gonna have a look at this abstract. But let me first introduce you to the paper. Of course, the paper, we talked a lot about the foundational elements, or factors and ideas in the previous lecture. So I want you to watch the previous lecture, which is an introduction to word associations, and also there is another video which will help you understand many topics discussed here, including denotation and connotation and lexical relations and so on. So please watch these two videos. They are introductory videos that will help you a lot navigate this chapter or this paper. Okay. Of course, we're gonna talk today first about what's the purpose of this study. Okay, and as you see here, I want you to open your books. I am not talking about everything in the paper, but I'm selecting some parts because I've already covered many of these issues in the previous lectures or in the previous videos. Go directly to the purpose of the study, and you will find this at the bottom of pages 79. Okay, and the purpose of the study is to investigate the word associated behavior of English learners of English on the one hand, and English native speakers on the other hand. English native speakers are tested once, and Egyptian learners of English are tested twice, once in Arabic and the other time in English. And what was the test? The test was, a number of words which have been given to students and to participants, native speakers of English, and every speaker or every participant was asked to write whatever comes to his or her mind once the stimulus words are given to them. And let me show you what are these words. Here are the words. Yes, this is the word association test which has been given to the group of the groups of participants, سواء بقى مصريين or British. And it goes like that. What comes to your mind when you read the following words? Okay, education, politics, media, environment, anger, terrorism, and so on and so forth. This is also another part of the or a continuation of the list of words, stimulus words, and whatever comes to people's mind, they are requested to write without limit. Everyone is free to write whatever comes to his or her mind. So this was the test that has been given to the studies participants, whether Egyptians or British. Okay, let's go back to our paper. So far, we know the purpose. It was to investigate the word association behavior of Egyptian learners of English in Arabic and in English. They were given the test twice, in the sense that these words have been translated into Arabic and given to our Egyptian learners. You understand? And they were requested to answer or to conduct this test twice, once in Arabic and once in also or the other one in English. Okay, and then we compare results, and as we're gonna see. Okay, theoretical framework, we talked about this before, semantic network and word association. We said before that words do not exist in isolation, and they connect together, and they make what we call semantic network. Okay, let me show you again what's this semantic network. Okay. As you see, it's made up of a number of concepts or words or ideas, whatsoever, and each one is related or connected to other words, and this is why the idea of semantic network or network itself has been established and has been so agreed upon among theorists of word associations. For example, here's the word mammal. Okay, you will find that it prompts the word animal, for example, and the word vertebra, and a cat. It has fur, and mammal also could be a pear, a whale, fish. Animal could be a fish, could be and so on. Fish could derive or could make us bring to mind the word water, and the word water could bring to mind the word whale, and the word whale could bring to mind the word mammal, and the word mammal could bring to mind the word vertebra, bones, and so on. And so on. So you'll find that it's a chain, it's a network, word leading to another word, and these words are connected together, and they are, as I told you before, relatable through a network of pathways, which are neural connections. وصلات عصبية connecting words and the more connections a word has, the density, the lexical density this word can create, and also the repeated the connections, the more frequent the two words or three words which are related together could be instantiated together again and again and again, then they become so frequent in one's mental lexicon. Okay, so this is the idea of semantic network and how words are related to each other, and a word can propagate and send activation signal to other words and fire together and so on زي ما شرحنا في المرة اللي فاتت. Okay, back to our book, yeah, and then we talked about word associations and how the previous studies, for example, were not able to account for how the word mother prompts or activates the word authority, and how the word cold activates the word, for example, my brother. These associations have been given from previous studies. Okay, and there have been a number of models which have been used in order to help us understand and explain how words are related to each other. Let me show you, before talking about this slide. And here we find that the word chocolate and the word coffee and drink and water and so on, these words are belonging to you can say a semantic network or semantic field. Because they are relatable, they come together in one way or another. So the word cafe, you'll find there are many words which are very central to it, such as ground, smug, and so on. The word chocolate also, we have cookies, bakeries, and so on. So we cannot say, for example, what is the relationship between winter here, which is activated by the word chocolate, and the word teacup here, which is activated by the word coffee. All these words are making one network. But look at how the words which are in the peripheral parts, في المناطق اللي هي الخارجية اللي انتم شايفينها مش في central, how can we relate them to one another? They are related through networks, through neural pathways. الوصلات اللي انتم شايفينها دي neural pathways. So the relationship between teacup, for example, and winter will not be so direct. It will be going through a number of bridges, a number of intermediate concepts. So it's not a direct one. وهكذا. So the relationship between words could be central and direct, and it could be peripheral and far away, as you see. And the network could go on, and every one of us has his own network according to his own experience and his own cultural background and so on, as we're gonna see. Okay. So there have been a number of models which help us understand how does this network works and how words are related to each other. معايا؟ فكان منهم أول model عندنا اسمه spreading activation. What's spreading activation? It's an old one, and as you see, it is based on the assumption that during an activation activity or association activity, the stimulus word or the start word is activated and then propagates waves known as activation signals to the associated words, which make up the word association chain. The activation force emitting from the start node to a given associate node is largely determined by how salient or adjacent is the letter to the former. فإحنا عندنا node أو فكرة أو كلمة بتعمل sends or spreads إيه بقى؟ activation signals، تنشيط كده waves known as activation signals to the associate words للكلمات اللي هي قريبة منها. تعال نشوف كده الكلام ده. For example, here's the word chocolate. It sends activation waves to بترسل بقى يعني waves موجات تنشيطية كده chemicals طبعا and interactions and so on to words such as dessert, such as dark brown, such as cocoa, such as hot, such as brown, such as tan, such as cake. فطبعا بتدي هي مرتبط هي central node, central concept as you see, and it activates other relatable concepts by sending waves of activation through neural pathways عن طريق الوصلات العصبية and through neural connections to the related words and so on. So and it keeps sending activating waves to other nodes and other concepts and other words, and these words also in turn بالرخرين they send activating waves to other words and so on and so forth and so forth. Okay. طيب احنا كده عرفنا يعني ايه اول حاجه spreading activation. ده نظريه spreading activation ان ال central node او الورد اللي احنا عايزين نتكلم عنه اللي هو الورد اسوسيشن بتاعنا الستيمولس وورد او الستارت وورد. لما نقول له what comes to your mind when the word مثلا اي وورد بقى على حسب التست بيقولوا لنا على طول this word بقى activates activation signals and sends these signals to words around it in order to make a network and to have various word associations. Okay, so this is the first model. أول نموذج بيشرح لنا الموضوع ده. Next we have let me show you also another thing. Okay, yes, here spreading هو الactivation. يعني مثلا عندنا هنا the word what comes. لو سألتك قلت لك what comes to your mind when the word red is mentioned, فكلمة red هتبقى central أو start word. طيب هنعمل بيها ايه؟ this word will, which is red, will send and spread activation signals and waves to the words which are connected to or which are relatable to it, or in one way or another. They share the same semantic field. So red here sends activating waves to fire, and fire sends activating waves to house. Red also can send activating waves to yellow, and yellow بقى هتدي ال other colors orange and green. red ممكن تدي كمان activating waves to send it to apples. apples بقى تعمل رخرة other waves to cherries and pears. red also can activate the word roses, and roses can activate other kinds of flowers, and red also can activate the word fire engine, and fire engine بقى can activate many things, such in the fire engine itself, the bus, the truck, the car, the vehicle, the street, and the ambulance, and so on. نفس الكلام هنا برضو لما اقول لك what comes to your mind when the word let's say yellow is mentioned, you can say it's ممكن yellow بقى تعمل activation signal to send activation signal to sun to heat. sun هتبعت الهيت وهتبعت الرين ممكن. وبعدين yellow can also send activation waves ل canary, which is a bird. وcanary خلاص دخلنا في الاريا بتاعة السيمانتك فيلد بتاع البيردز، والبيردز توصلنا للانيمالز and so on and so forth. You understand? أرجو أن يكون ده واضح. Let's go back to our book. We have another model. Okay. وده يشرح لنا برضو لما اقول لك كلمه زي كلمه lucky لقينا ان the word clover كان من احد الريسبونسز بتاعتها. يعني نشطت كلمة زي كلمة clever، فبرضه نفس الكلام ان ايه this is you know it could be prototypical، يعني could يعني if we look at the nature of the of these words, for example, you'll find that there are words which are very close to the stimulus word and words which are far away. These far away words can make many combinations. They can make, for example, metaphors and so on. For example, the word yellow and the word cradle، لو بصيت عليهم كده زي ايه العلاقة اليellow بالcradle، you know, different way, different nodes in the middle and so on. طيب we have another mapping model اللي هو slippage. فقال لنا ان احنا ان some intermediate nodes can be snapped to allow a pass simplification between the source node. فاحنا كده بقى مش هنقول كل التفاصيل في المابينج موديل ده، فقالوا لنا لا احنا we're not going to take to look for all these details and to look for all the intermediate signals, and we're gonna move to the you know the response or all abruptly, you know. For example, the word friend لقوا ان هو it activates the word trust. طب ايه علاقة الفريند trust يا جماعة؟ يعني لما اقول واحد what comes to your mind when the word friend is mentioned، فيقول لي كلمة trust. لما نيجي بقى احنا we want to investigate what is the relationship between these two words اللي هي الstimulus word والresponse بتاعتها اللي هي trust، نقول ايه بقى how can we account for this؟ هنقول ان هي the relationship has gone through a number of intermediate nodes or intermediate concepts. For example, and it goes like that. For example, the word body reflects friend here, you know, activates the word body, and then the word body activates the word soulmate, and then the word soulmate activates the word understands me, and then this activates the word share my feelings, and then this activates advice, and advice activates love, and love activates trust. Look بقى على الكلام ده كله اهوت، كل ده these are nodes يعني concept in the middle between friend and trust. okay، applying slippage لما نطبق بقى النموذج بتاع المابينج موديل او زي نشوف العلاقه ما بين الاثنين دول كده الموديل ده، لقينا ان احنا خلاص we don't want to go into all these details، وهنقول على طول اهوت ان ايه الفريند على طول gives advice that I trust، ويبقى عندي only 3 nodes اللي هي friend advice trust. okay، and all these details will not be accounted for because we want to simplify the route between the or the road between the stimulus word friend في الحالة بتاعتنا وال response word اللي هو trust برضو في الحالة بتاعتنا دي. okay، طيب هنا بيقول لنا برضو ان words can make bridges. okay، and bridges can be also be created between two concepts in case both have relations to assert. okay، يعني for example A and B bridge to C. Here English A and B is job, and they both was a relationship between English and job. For example, A and B are inherently unrelated, but because English and job are relatable to C, we find that they become relatable too. يبقى C here acts as a bridge between these two things in order to make them link together. okay، ده موضوع برضو البريدجز ده برضو حاجة relatable to المابينج models اللي احنا خدناها. يبقى احنا خدنا هنا two mapping models. number 1 spreading activation, number 2 slippage اهوت، ورقم number 3 اللي هو البريدجز اللي احنا ممكن نقول ان هو relatable to slippage. okay، طيب برضو في عندنا ليكوف عمل لنا حاجة اسمها radial blossoming، وقال ان الكونسبتس اللي هي في دماغنا يعني في semantic network بتاعتنا are formed through a number of cognitive constructs such as metaphor, metonymy, embodiment and so on. لما تقولي money is you know what time is money، ده ايه؟ it's a metaphor. ايه اللي حصل لما when what comes to your mind when the word time is mentioned to money؟ يبقى خلاص يعني انت عملت ايه؟ link between the two create metaphor. ساعات يعمل مثلا metonymy بارتون هول. اوكي لما اقول مثلا American presidency تقولي White House and so on. embodiment اللي برضو different kinds of figurative language and figurative expressions, structures and so on. طيب تمام، كل الكلام ده تمام. احنا بقى عندنا بيقول لنا ان السيمانتك نتورك ديت يا جماعه with its activated nodes، وقلنا النودز اللي هي الكونسبتس والايدياز والكلام ده and pathways اللي هي الكونكشنز ديت او neural connections and the multiple constructs they convey are believed to be culturally determined. I want you to pay attention to this. And why? Because culture is the, you know, the prison. You can say we are captives to our cultures. It's the prison in which we live and we see the world through the way we think, the way we behave, the way we imagine, the way we act is determined by our culture. So our culture is an everything we do, and it really also affects the way we think and the way our neural networks and our brains work. لقوا ان احنا شغل مخنا نفسه is determined by our culture. So we are prisoners and captives of our culture, and it's the sea in which we live, and we cannot feel that we are living in the sea unless we go out of it and we go to another place in order to see our culture. Then and only then we feel that we have a different culture. Okay, and this culture determines and shapes the way we think and the way we see the world. Even our biological and cognitive work and mental work is determined by our culture. فكل حاجة احنا بنعملها سواء نشاط ذهني او عقلي او اي حاجة من كده او هي او معرفي، فهي من صنع يعني او متأثرة بالكالتشر بتاعتنا. اوكي تمام. خلينا بقى نمشي مع بعض كده. عايزة برضو تكونوا معايا to not to lose track. Okay, let me see, where are we? I think yeah. Now we'll move on to خلصنا البريدجز والسنابج والسليبج والactivation spreading activation وكل المودلز بتشرح لنا relationship between stimulus words and their responses. Okay, now let's move on to something else, which is the lexical aspects or the aspects of lexical knowledge. Okay, اللي هي موجودة on page 86. Of course in the middle يعني in the previous pages I think that we have covered what has been there in all these pages in the previous lectures. Okay, so let's move on to aspects. aspects طبعا هنا كان ممكن نقول برضو in activation of responses could be determined by many things such as people's personalities, people's mental and psychological states, people's cultures and so on. فدي كان برضو حاجة ممكن ناخد بالنا واحنا ماشيين. نيجي بقى aspects of lexical knowledge. Okay, when we learn new words, okay, how can we learn them? We learn them by learning a bundle of information units, as you see, concerning its form, usage, register and connotation. فاحنا لما بنتعلم كلمة احنا بنتعلم حاجات كتير جدا. بنتعلم its form سواء بقى it's a morphological form, it's syntactic form and so on, usage syntactically and semantically, register, styles and connotation. What are the negative and the positive connotations, associations this word has, and so on. فاحنا ده اللي احنا بنبقى قصدنا بيه. فالlexical competence or knowledge is commonly referred to as the information a language user stores in his or her mental lexical repertoire about a given lexeme. What we know about a word is stored in our mental lexicon concerning its use, its form, its register, its connotations, and so on and so forth. Here we have a number of terms I want you to pay attention to. For example, lexical aspects are technically measured by a number of factors. For example, ازاي اعرف اقيس القدرة او المعرفة اللفظية اللي عندك. Number one, vocabulary breadth. Number two, receptive and active lexical knowledge. Number three, vocabulary depth. Number four, vocabulary access or use. تعالوا نشوف أول واحد كده. vocabulary breadth اللي هو vocabulary size. How many words do you know? How many words do you have in your mental lexicon? دي أول حاجة. يبقى vocabulary breadth ما هيبقى هو إيه قصده بيه size. How many words. Number two, receptive vocabulary. Here has to do with words which you do not know, but maybe you receive and you understand, but maybe you do not use, but and so on. The gap between the two هي productive بقى عندنا receptive vocabulary and productive vocabulary. Receptive words we know but we do not use. Productive words we know and use and so on. الgap between them بقى has to do with the level of proficiency and the personality traits and individual differences and so on. Vocabulary depth involves a number of things. For example, how much do you know about the word regarding its form, its function, denotations, connotations, cultural implications. Also, word access is commonly defined as the tendency of learners to overuse high frequency words and forms while avoid using others. فهنا vocabulary access or use, how many words are frequent in your vocabulary or in your mental lexicon and so on. What's the diversity? Is your vocabulary diverse, or you are sticking to a limited number of words that you are using most of the time and you are using them so frequently without much diversity. ماسك شوية كلمات كده انت بتغير فيهم. اوكي and so on. فده كله حاجات احنا we know. وطبعا علاقة ايه ده بالword associations. In word associations is a tool that helps us penetrate into your mental lexicon and in your brain in order to know a lot about your vocabulary repertoire, your lexical knowledge, whether you have a wealth of words or your words are limited, the breadth of or the size of your vocabulary, and so on and so forth. فاحنا طبعا word association is a very important tool in order to test the lexical competence and lexical knowledge of individuals. Okay. طيب نيجي بقى بعد كده على حاجة اسمها semantic organization. اللي هي تعالوا نشوف احنا يعني how do we deal with the world around us. احنا بنتعامل مع العالم اللي حوالينا ازاي. How do we interact with what's coming from the outside world to us through our senses and the intakes, different intakes that we assimilate and that we process every fraction of a second in our 24 hours of the day, even during our speech and during our sleep. Our brains never stop working. طيب هنا عايزين نشوف بقى semantic organization. ده ايه بقى semantic organization؟ بقول لي semantic fields، وحاجة اسمها semantic field theory اللي بيقول ان meaning of words can be grasped when linked to other words sharing a given semantic field. يعني ايه؟ يعني every domain in life has a number of words which are related. يعني مثلا the domain of sports, you'll find all words which are there in the field are belonging to the semantic field of sport. الاقي مثلا football، الاقي crowds، الاقي referees، الاقي players، الاقي crowds، الاقي matches، goals، and الاقي مثلا TV، الاقي FIFA and so on. لو بصينا لأي بقى field هنلاقي all words which are making this field بنسميها semantic field. We group them into semantic field. So grouping words in a semantic field helps us organize the world around us. So we have a field for emotions, we have a semantic field for objects, we have a semantic field for sports, we have semantic fields for sciences, semantic fields for persons, semantic fields for activities, semantic fields for everything we do and everything we learn and everything we know and so on. فاحنا ده ده فكرة semantic fields. خليني let me show you this. okay اهو ده semantic field اهوت. هنلاقيه ان semantic field is a way to impose some order to vocabulary, and vocabulary is usually organized into fields of meaning. Within each field, lexemes اللي هي words interrelate to define each other in a specific way. For example, here's the word house. ايه semantic field اللي معايا كله بقى؟ هنلاقي ممكن نلاقي basement، وبيزمنت فيها laundry، وعندنا ground floor في garage، في kitchen، عندنا house يبقى first floor، and then في bedrooms. كل دول الوردز كلها ده بيعمل لنا semantic field of ايه؟ of house. وممكن نبقى نخليها اكبر، فالهاوس ده ممكن نخليه مثلا building blocks، ممكن يبقى different patterns of houses، ممكن يبقى في cities، ممكن يبقى في and so on. فهنا semantic field is a set of words، مجموعة من الكلمات belonging to a particular domain of life and particular domain of knowledge. You understand؟ طيب تعالوا باك بقى للكتاب بتاعنا، وهنلاقي ان احنا خلاص احنا لقينا ان العالم بتاعنا هننظمه عن طريق ان احنا هنحطه في semantic fields. اوكي طيب هنلاقي بقى بنقول لنا الwords بقى constituting a semantic field are organized syntagmatically. الكلمات بقى داخل كل semantic field بنرتبها ازاي؟ لا اما syntagmatically or paradigmatically، واتكلمنا عنهم قبل كده وقلنا تعالوا نشوف كده. Syntagmatic relations hold between words via collocation. الكلمات المصاحبة مع بعضها اللي بتيجي صحاب مع بعضهم بيسيبوش بعد كده. Words which are not substitutable and occur adjacent to each other. For example, red scarf, happy girl, black and white, rich and poor, fish and chips, salt and bread and butter. كل دي حاجات بنسميها ايه؟ بنسميها syntagmatic relations. ليه؟ علشان هم بيجوا جنب بعض كده. they have horizontal relationship. horizontal they form a sequence ورا بعض مع بعض. okay in horizontal relationship between them. طيب paradigmatically words which are related to each other not horizontally but vertically. ممكن نشيلهم ونبدلهم يبدلهم بقى أماكن. they are substitutable. for example synonymy. لو أنا قلت لك إيه علاقة start begin، إن أنا ممكن أشيل start وأحط begin. it's synonymy relationship. طب لو قلت what's the relationship between start and end، علاقتهم antonymy، علاقة تضاد. لما اقول لك gradation hot and cold علاقتهم ببعض ايه؟ antonyms. طب انهي نوع منهم؟ gradable hotter hottest cold colder and coldest and so on. فاحنا لما يبقى في علاقات كده نقدر نشيل ونحط فيها علاقات افق رأسية بنسميها paradigmatic. في عندنا نوع ثالث اسمه clang، ودي بقى phonological based faulty responses، يعني words which are connected to each other because they are similar in sounds. They are similar in sounds. Let me show you this. اجيب لك اهوت سلايد كده برضو. Let me show you this. Yes, there. Did I? Yes, this one. Yes. If you look at the utilization of network model, yes. Look here at the one in this color, which is it's not it's orange, it's orange. This is synonyms. A means B. For example, here نبص هنا كده مثلا we find that set and band. Okay, lay and get. lay and set قريبين من بعض في المعنى. طيب لقينا بقى بعد كده taxonomic relations. لقينا مثلا ال A is a specific or general kind of B. كل ده برضو يعني بنسميه paradigmatic relations يا جماعة. يعني مثلا ما اقول لك مثلا set and bed. set and bed. What's the relationship between set and bed? Okay, this is a specific kind of B. A is a specific kind of B. لما اقول مثلا set bed or bed set طقم سرير او حاجه زي كده. لما اقول لك what's the relationship between let's say lay okay and bed. ايه علاقه lay ببed؟ ان انا I can lay on bed. برضو it's part of the bed is to or job or utility is that we use it in order to lay on and so on. Also what's the relationship between set and play, set and scene؟ دي كلها حاجات taxonomic relationship، علاقات يعني تراتبية بينهم وبين بعض. طيب نيجي بقى phonological similarities. لما اقول لك let and get let and set bed and head okay lay and play كلها دي كلمات لما تيجي في دماغ حد فينا يبقى جت بناء على ايه؟ ان في phonological similarities. okay يبقى words or word association could be synonymous, could be taxonomic, hypernyms and hyponyms and so on, could be phonologically similar to one another, and could be free associations. They are not relatable to one another. okay طيب نشوف برضو هنا lexical relations هم مربوطين ببعض. synonymy such as conceal and hide, antonymy such as shallow and deep, and hyponomy. hyponomy بقى علاقة هنا يعني classification of words according to rank. For example, which comes first here, daffodil or flower? Flower here is a hyponym to the word daffodil لأن daffodil ده نوع من الفلاور. okay فالفلاور تيجي قبليه، فعلاقتهم هنا علاقة ايه؟ hierarchical relationship. flower comes first at top. okay طالما علاقة كده يعني hierarchical تبقى عندنا hyponomy relationship. okay طيب let's go back to our book. فاحنا دلوقتي عندنا خلاص احنا قسمنا السيمانتك اورجانيزيشنز بتاعتنا، قلنا خلاص عملناهم في سيمانتك فيلدز، والوردز داخل كل سيمانتك فيلدز لا اما علاقه syntagmatic يعني they come together next to each other, or paradigmatically they replace one another, they substitute كده زي ما احنا شايفين واحد مكان التاني, or they are similar in phonologically. بس هم دول الثلاث حاجات اللي احنا يهمنا نعرفهم. اوكي طيب تعالوا بقى نشوف في هنا نظريتين ايه بقى semantic culture constructs اللي احنا هنستخدمها او ايه السيريز اللي احنا هنستخدمها. فانا هنا برضو order not to يعني give you so many details. I have two series. ولا لما نتكلم على series يعني in academic work and research in general, when we use any theory we should tell or say why do we use this theory. And let me show you first what are my two series. Number one, Schema Theory, and this theory is very old but has been revived by Bartlett in 1932. And وباختصار كده schema means background knowledge. Again, schema means background knowledge, and it has many kinds. We have genre schema, we have cultural schema, or whatever is considered the background knowledge is called schema. اوكي طيب السكيما دي بتأثر على الورد اسوسيشنز. لما ادي تيست كده للناس كل واحد فينا يعمل يجيب كلمات غير الكلمات التاني. يس ليه بقى؟ لان every one of us has his own or her own background knowledge which includes بقى his ideas, his prejudices, his expectations, world knowledge, world experience, memories, mental models, كل ما هو متعلق به بنعتبره background knowledge. فطبعا this affects the way we behave and the way we make word associations and the way our mental lexicon is organized and the way also our lexical knowledge is working and is formed. اوكي تمام. يبقى اول نظريه احنا هنعتمد عليها نظريه السكيما ثيوري. ليه يا جماعه؟ علشان هي بتقول ان احنا الباك جراوند نولج اور السكيما ده very important and it is relatable to our culture and our experience in life in general. فاحنا هنلاقي نفسنا our word associations are determined by our experience and our cultural schema and our sex and our educational background and a lot of things. تمام؟ طيب let's go to another theory which is prototype theory. Prototype theory, this is a theory that has been developed by Roche in the 70s, and PT is a theory of categorization, and it says that concepts can be viewed in terms of prototypes, and people see the world in the light of categories so as to be able to contain and understand it. ايه الكلام ده يا جماعه؟ تعالوا نشوف الكلام ده. فاحنا بنقول the categorized concepts include events, emotions, abstract knowledge and so on. فاحنا بنشوف العالم في ضوء ايه؟ الكونسبت بتاعتنا معموله في ضوء prototypes بمعنى let's see. Okay, prototypes. Where? Yes, this prototype. Okay. Prototype theory is a mode of graded categorization in cognitive science. Okay, and as you see, let's see here the word bird. Okay, here what comes to your mind when the word bird is mentioned? You will find that here is the word sparrow, word عصفور, and it could be robin. هنا احنا شايفين اهوت sparrow. This is robin. اهو زي ما انتم شايفين robin, this bird in America with its orange color, and all these are can we say that all these are all birds? For example, can we say that bats are birds? They fly. تعالوا نشوف الأول إيه خصائص البيردز الأساسية. إن هم number one إن هم they can fly. Number two they lay eggs. Number three they have furs. مش كده؟ fur or feathers. طيب الكلام they have wings. تمام. طيب does this apply to pets? No. فيبقى البت هنا outside. اوكي طيب تعال نشوف بقى البيردز كلها. Here we find that the prototypical bird is a bird here that comes to our mind first when the word bird is mentioned. فأول كلمة هتيجي في بالك ساعة نقول كلمة طائر هي البروتوتيبيكال، يعني the ideal member of the family of birds. طيب هنا how about kiwi which is a bird in New Zealand. How about penguin, which is another bird that it cannot fly, it swims, and this bird it cannot fly. And as you see, how about owl? You know, does this come to your mind when we mention the word bird؟ حد بيجي في دماغه فكرة البومة ساعة ما بنيجي نقول طائر؟ ما بيجيش. أو penguin ما بيجيش، او كيوي. ليه؟ لان اللي في بالنا على طول the ideal or the prototypical bird اللي في دماغنا على طول نقول على طول حمامة، نقول مثلا عصفورة، الكلام اللي هو very common. فده فكرة البروتوتايب theory، ان احنا we organize things around us through or along a prototype. فكل everything we have and everything we know we organize it along or around a prototype member. فكل البيردز دول كلهم they are birds and they are not equal in the features or in the characteristics of being a bird. Okay, they are not equal. هم birds كلهم لكن they are not equal. Okay, there is a prototype member and which is in the middle في النص, and there are others بقى on the peripheral on the edges. Okay, but they are not equal members. They do not share the same and all features of being a bird. تمام؟ طيب فهنا مثلا طب تعالوا نطبق الكلام ده بقى على الورد اسوسيشن. ايه علاقه النظريه دي بالورد اسوسيشن؟ هقول لك اهو، يعني اقول لك اتس ذا موست، اقول لك خلاص احنا عرفنا ان البروتوتايب اتس ذا موست. علاقته بقى بالورد اسوسيشن ان هو لما اقول the prototype response، يعني اقول لك what comes to your mind when the word mother is mentioned، فانت هتقول لي مثلا love، وهنلاقي كلنا نقول معظمنا كده نقول love كله، فهنلاقي love is the most frequent word. فlove هنا هتبقى ايه؟ هتبقى البروتوتايب. ليه؟ لان هي the one that has been mentioned so many times, the most frequent. فاحنا خدنا النظرية عشان نقول ان البروتوتايب ريسبونس لأي stimulus word في اي word association test هي هتبقى the word or the response which has the high frequency, the highest frequency. Okay. طيب لما اقول لك مثلا ايه the concept mother for example is categorized around a central member which is the mother. لما اقول كلمة mother وايه انواع المother different kinds of mother زي ما عملنا البيردز كده، هيجي بالي ايه؟ هلاقي نفسي حطاه كده نقول لك ايه the central or the ideal member of the word mother, okay, is the mother that raises a baby and is the biological mother. يبقى هي الأم ايه بقى ideal member of being a mother is a mother who is the biological mother and also the one who raises a baby. طب هلاقي في أنواع تانية؟ هلاقي في adoptive mother، هلاقي birth mother، هلاقي surrogate mothers، هلاقي step mother. اوكي، فدي كلها انواع من المذر، بس هل هي كلهم ideal or prototype؟ لا، Adoptive mother is one who raised a child but not giving birth to child. طب birth mother, someone who gives birth to a child but is not raising. طب surrogate لا ملهاش دعوة خالص بالحاجات دي, just something else. فطبعا هنا البروتوتايب هنا هيبقى مين؟ الأم اللي ولدت واللي ربت, هي البروتوتايب, هي النموذج المثالي. تمام؟ فالفكرة بتاعة البروتوتايب ريسبونس هي طبقناها بقى على الكلام ده. تعالوا نشوف ازاي بقى اكتر. تمام. The prototype or the ideal category ده برضو شرحنا خلاص. تمام. تمام. in essence, شوف الكلام ده بقى. in essence, PT could offer a method of understanding how learners categorize their mental lexicon vocabulary. Prototypes serve as mental representation of all classes and the categories of object and concept. More specifically, association of words are classified around prototypical associations. يبقى لما اجي اشوف الورد associations بدور على the most frequent response, اكتر كلمه اتكررت عند كل الناس, دي بعتبرها the prototypical response, the prime response. وبشوف بقى اللي حواليها بقيه التانيين بقى اللي هم the less frequent and the least frequent and the rare responses and so on. تمام. The prototypical association holds strong relations to the stimulus, allowing it to receive the highest activation level, which spreads to the neighboring nodes and concepts. فلما اجي اقول لك كلمه for example the word bird, هتلاقي سجلك على طول كلمه sparrow, على طول في activation طالع على طول من bird activation waves طالعه من bird لأقرب فكرة بتكون قريبة منها الايديال بقى او البروتوتايب, النموذج المثالي او الاولي لكلمة sparrow and so on. لما اقول كلمة love والاقي مثلا تقول family, وساعة ما اقول what comes to your mind when the word love is mentioned, تقول لي family, تقول لي mother, تقول لي mother, وكذا واحد يقول mother هنا ايه؟ the prototype response to the word or the stimulus word love, وهكذا. you understand؟ فجينا ده الرابطة اللي احنا عملناها. تمام. تعالوا نشوف بقى حاجة تانية. هنا بيقول لي يبقى احنا النظريتين back here the two theories that we have adopted اللي هي schema theory, we adopted in order to explain to us how background knowledge and how our experience affects the way we conduct word association tests and how words are associated in our mental lexicon and how words are organized and the degree or the depth of our lexical knowledge. كل ده كان مهم جدا ناخد النظرية الأولانية. النظرية الثانية برضو helping us to understand that when words or responses are investigated, we can know that the most frequent response is the ideal, the prototype response. Just like the word bird, when it arouses the word sparrow هيبقى the ideal response. فنفس الكلام خدناها لما نقول مثلا the word flower, وانت تيجي تقول لي rose, اوكي خلاص يبقى روز هنا, وكذا واحد قال روز يبقى خلاص روز هتبقى دي prototype response لكلمة flower and so on. واحد تاني في بلد تانية ممكن يجيب عندهم different kinds of flower ممكن يقولها and so on and so forth. تمام. ده كده فاضل لنا بقى نتكلم على age and proficiency. طيب is there a relationship between age or proficiency and word association behavior؟ لقينا ان ازاي فقال لك ان it suggests that clangs اللي هم words which are similar phonologically they are acquired first and then syntagmatic relations and then paradigmatic relation. يبقى الترتيب بتاع النمو او ال maturation of word association بيبقى عندنا ايه؟ ان احنا we start first with clayings. Words are associated with in terms of phonological similarity, and then we have syntagmatic relations. Words are associated because they come together next to each other. بيجوا مع بعض مصاحبات لغوية مع بعضهم كده، أبيض وأسود، فول وطعمية وحاجات من دي. وعندنا بعد كده آخر حاجة paradigmatic، إن أنا أشيل كلمة وأحط مكانها. إن أنا ممكن أقول بدل ما أقول the funny girl ممكن أقول the funny boy، بنشيل boy ويبقى كلمة اتغيرت، بدلت، عرفت هنا بينت لي إن أنا عارفة إن boy و girl الاتنين دول they have the same grammatical function and they have the same word class، وبتبين إن أنا عندي يعني word lexical knowledge أكبر أو deep lexical knowledge and so on. تمام. طيب نيجي بقى للدراسة بتاعتنا. الدراسة بتاعتنا اهي عرفنا ان احنا البيربس بتاعها ان احنا نعمل comparison in word association behavior of Egyptian learners of English، وقسمناهم ل two groups. First group is first year and second group fourth year. والاتنين دول قسمنا الفيرست year ل two groups. واحد أخدت the test in Arabic and the other in English. والfourth year برضه قسموا إلى two groups. One taking the test in اللي هي word association test يعني in Arabic, and the other group takes the or took the test in English. دول يبقى احنا عندنا how many groups in اللي هم Egyptian learners؟ عندنا 4 groups. 2 first year groups and 2 second year groups, okay? Or 2 fourth year groups. And then we have also compared this to a group of British participants in native English speakers. And we want to know بقى word associations عند المجموعات دي كلها علشان to see if there are similarities, if there are differences, and to investigate this, because word association will help us understand how mental lexicon is organized in the minds of native Egyptian Arabic speakers and native English speakers. Okay. تمام. هنتناول بقى the prime response and what makes a particular response prime. يعني ايه كلمة prime response؟ انا اظن ان انا فهمتها لكم دلوقتي ان ايه prime response that occurs frequently. اكتر response اتكررت عند الناس اللي احنا ادينا لهم الاختبار. اوكي، ده بنسميها prime response. طب semantic organization of mental lexicon قلنا خلاص هنقسمناهم على paradigmatic relations, syntagmatic relations, clang اللي هي phonological similar relations. تمام. طيب والامباكت عايزين نشوف بقى الامباكت في maturation. احنا عندنا first year وعندنا fourth year. طب ليه ما خليناهمش one group وخلاص؟ ليه؟ لا، احنا كنا عايزين نشوف is the exposition of to English classes and to English courses effective and is in making a difference in the word association behavior of our Egyptian learners of English. ده كان الهدف من برضو كان أحد أهداف الدراسة. طيب الميثود بقى كان السبجكت بتاعنا عندنا 15 British participants و 60 Egyptian FL learners. ال 60 بقى دول 60 دول متقسمين ل 4 groups. كل جروب برضو مكونة من consists of 15 members. تمام. عندنا جروب 1 وجروب 2. جروب 1 اللي هي النيتيف بريتش English speakers، وجروب 2 and 3 هتبقى الفيرست يير. الواحد من مجموعة منهم خدوا بالعربي وواحد بالانجليزي، مجموعة بالانجليزي. وجروب 4 and 5 هيبقوا الفورث يير اللي برضه اتقسموا. we divide them into two groups, one taking the test in Arabic and the other taking the test in English. test اللي هو ايه؟ افكركم بيه، كان اللي هو giving a number of words to to participants للناس المشتركين معانا لستودنتس أو ناس تانيين وقلنا لهم what comes to your mind when you read the following words وادنا لهم الwords اللي شايفينها ديت ودي كمان and so on and we ask them to write whatever comes to their mind and there was no limit to the number of words or even limit to the time. تمام. هذا الماتيريالز اهيت ادينا لهم زي ما انا كلمت لكم وسيبناهم بقى to write whatever comes to their mind. After that or after finishing or having finished the test جبنا كل واحد فيهم كده وعلى قدر الإمكان وبحاولنا to ask them if there are things that we need to disambiguate. For example, someone a British participant wrote, for example, the word عمان as a response to the stimulus word door. فسألناها قلنا لها ليه فقالت لأن the word door or the doors in Oman or Oman are well designed. So لما شافت كلمة door من الكلمات اللي احنا شفناها اللي كنا مدينا لهم تعالوا نشوف كده كان في كلمة door فعلا. yes في door. ايوه اهو door اهو شايفينها اهي تمام. فلقينا دور فلقيناها كتبت عمان قلنا لها ليه واسك them her قالت ان هي because the doors in Oman are well designed. So when I see the word door I remember this activates in my mind على طول كلمة عمان and so on. برضو كان في حد برضو another one كلمة talking خدنا كلمة talking. طب كلمة talking كانت في بار تعالوا نشوف كده talking the word talking. yes what is it? Okay, let's make sure. Another example from the group is the response talking to the word troubles. yes the word troubles كان في الامتحان كلمة troubles مش talking كلمة troubles. فلما شافت كلمة troubles عملت activate الكلمة اللي هي كلمة ايه كلمة talking. فقلنا لها يعني ايه العلاقة بقى قالت the link between them is clarified by the British participant كانت برضه British and قالت ان today I was talking to a colleague and he drove me up the wall. It is really a trouble and طبعا she was very angry with her colleague and this is why the word troubles activates the word talking. اوكي فده بنسميه تكنيك ده اسمه introspective verbal reporting وده يعني a sort of ethnographic study يعني or procedure that to ask participants in order to know more about their responses and so as to understand them and order to account for them. في طريقة تانية برضو اللي هي think aloud protocol ان احنا ممكن to ask them or to ask participants to write down what comes to their mind and also to explain at the time of writing why they are using this and that and so on. ليه قالوا الكلمة دي وما ليه ما قالوش الكلمة دي طريقة بس احنا we haven't used this. okay نعمل بقى الريسبونسز عملنا لها اناليسيس ازاي اهو. اول حاجه رحنا مقسمين الريسبونسز الى synonymy, antonymy, converseness, hyponymy, hypernyms, meronymy and so on. كل دي طبعا شرحناها قبل كده اللي هي lexical relations او semantic relations. السينونيم اللي هو meanings which have similar words which have similar meaning, antonymy words which have different meaning or opposite meaning, converseness words which have complementary meaning. لما قلنا husband and wife هل husband عكس wife are they opposites؟ لا they are not opposites, they are converseness, hyponymy words which are classified hierarchically فوق بعض او تحت بعض او مع بعض. لما rose and daffodil علاقتهم ايه؟ they are hyponyms اللي حاجة اكبر منهم. hypernym اللي هي مين؟ اللي هي flower and so on. اهي hypernyms meronymy okay and so on. فاحنا عندنا دي كلها حاجات. collocations برضو عندنا collocations اللي هي words which are coming together. connotations برضو دي حاجة حلوة جدا. connotations words which بقى ايه ده بقى figurative responses which are personal, emotional, social, cultural and so on. تعالى اوريكم الحاجات دي كلها كده. then اهو اداة collocations. انا اشوف كلمتين جنب بعض يبقى علاقتهم ببعض ايه؟ علاقتهم collocations. a collocation is made up of two or more words that are commonly used together in English. for example اهو لما اقول cup of tea، لما اقول مثلا have a pass، have a drink، have a good time، have a haircut، لازم have ومصاحبتها. اهو collocations. what are the words which collocate with have؟ words which collocating with break، words collocating with pay with make. خلاص كلها بنسميها collocations. يعني لو اقول make a difference، علاقة make بديفرنس ايه؟ زي collocate لازم يجوا مع بعض كده. اوكي يبقى برضو عندي collocations ال adjective and noun، blonde hair. اوكي verb and noun arouse someone's interest. adverb and adjective fundamentally different. adverb and verb، adverb and verb flatly contradict. noun and noun a team of experts and so on. فطبعا ده أداة الconnotations. تمام تعالوا نشوف الconnotations لأن ده برضو هيقابلنا. الconnotations اللي هي denotative definition is based on literal definition of word. والconnotation بقى اللي هي figurative or emotional meaning of word. لما اقول لك مثلا what comes to your mind when the word mother is mentioned، فانت تقول لي love. ايه علاقة love بmother؟ mother is love. it's a metaphor. it's figurative language. it's you associate mother with love. it's emotional. it's figurative. دخلنا بقى خرجنا من مرحلة الليترال، من العلاقة ببعض. لما اقول لك mother وقلت لي mother is a woman who gave birth to مش عارف ايه شرحتها لي والكلام ده، يبقى دي الليترال meaning. طب لما تقول لي mother is sacrifice، برضه انت دخلت خرجت بقى من literal meaning، من الدينوتيشن دخلت في الكونوتيشن اللي هي الايموشنال figurative language and so on. طيب الكونوتيشنز دي برضو عبارة عن ايه كمان؟ برضو حاجات قلنا هي figurative or emotional language. طب لو بنبص للcolor terms مثلا اهو red is very popular color found on magazine مش عارف ايه الكونوتيشنز بتاعت red يا جماعة؟ passion. لما اقول لك what comes to your mind when the word red is mentioned، تقول لي passion، danger، anger، heat، aggression، love. هو الفالنتين لما بيستخدمه ويبقى كله حاجات حمرا وقلوب ودباديب وحاجات من كده، ده ليه؟ symbol of love. ده figurative language، emotional language، ده connotation على طول. طب black sad death darkness مثلا، ده كلها connotation negative connotations. تمام. blue قال لك ان هي truth wisdom loyalty optimism faith، حاجه حلوه قوي. وبعدين purple loyalty royalty، ده بتاع ملكي loving compassionate. طب white يا سلام perfection cleanliness purity virginity innocence goodness light. طب green green بقى ايه الكونوتيشنز بتاعتها؟ وتجيب كده ميتافورز وحاجات جميله برضو. قال لك green ده ممكن تبقى jealousy يا سلام يا ساتر. green anger envy. طبعا ممكن يبقى اللون ده مش بيعمل عندنا احنا كده، يعني could have other connotations and other prototypical meanings. تمام. pink ده الفيميل color pink girly color. تمام. طب orange قال لك ده بتاع يا جماعة الورمز والفريندلينس والهابينس and so on. دي كلها ايه؟ connotation emotional اهي emotional and figurative meaning of a word. يبقى لما الاقي metaphor الاقي proverb الاقي idiom اوكي كل الحاجات ديت هي عبارة عن ايه؟ عن non literal meaning of words, non-literal associations of words, and so on. يبقى لما يبقى عندي associations لكلمة وريسبونسز قالت، بقعد بقى افكر طب الكلمة دي هعملها classification ازاي؟ is it a synonym؟ is it يبقى احطها في synonym، is it opposite يبقى احطها في الانتونيم، and so on and so forth. طب خلينا نشوف بقى عملنا ازاي الكلام ده. طيب احنا هنقسم الى paradigmatic relations و syntagmatic relations and so on. وزي ما شفنا كده ادي كلمة my father grows roses هنا، ورحت مستبدلها mother plants flowers. غيرت الفاذر ايه علاقة الفاذر بالمother هنا؟ paradigmatic relation because they are replaceable. grows and plants, flowers and roses. اوكي برغم ان flowers دي paradigmatic، وانهي نوع كمان ده هي كمان in hypernym، لان flowers are the upper group or class under which roses are just one kind or one type of flower. Okay. طيب let's go to طبعا احنا بقى هنعمل ازاي في الاناليسيس بتاعتنا اهوت يا جماعه. النظر ده الطريقه بتاعتنا اهو، قسمناهم الى form based responses. ولقينا ان زي مثلا salty، لو انا اديتك كلمه salty وانت جبت لي كلمه salt يبقى دي ايه؟ derivation، اشتقاق منها، ده حاجه انت طلعتها. لما اداك كلمه dating وولادنا جابوا كلمه years مش فاهمين يعني كلمه dating، زي look at it as word date فخلاص يبقى معناها years. تمام. فده طبعا words which are derived or associated to other words based on form. اوكي. طب syntagmatic، لما الاقي girl وجايب جه وراها كلمه او استدعت او عملت activation لكلمه او association لكلمه beautiful، علاقه girl beautiful ايه؟ collocation. beautiful girl، beautiful يجي معاها girl جنبها لازقه فيها sequence. اوكي. collocation. تمام. طيب paradigmatic بتضم بقى حاجات كتير، بتضم السينونيمي لما اقول initiate وكلمه start، لما اقول لك what comes to your mind when the word initiate is mentioned تقول start، يبقى هم علاقتهم بعض ايه؟ synonym مرادفات. طيب defeat and win علاقتهم بعض ايه؟ antonymy. تمام. husband and wife علاقتهم بعض ايه؟ converseness. اوكي. radio and TV علاقتهم بعض ايه؟ hyponyms. الاثنين علاقتهم بعض there are two types of media. اوكي. green and color، green and color علاقتهم بعض ايه؟ hypernyms. ان الcolor ده هو is an upper class وتحتيه ممكن يجي green ممكن يجي white and so on. طيب semantic lexical sets دي بقى ضمت لنا حاجات كتير جدا. لما اقول لك war وانت what comes to your mind when the word war is mentioned، رحت جايب لي aggression وجايب لي fighting وجايب لي hit وجايب لي hurt وجايب لي attack، اعمل فيهم ايه؟ كل دول احطهم في انهي categorization بقى من كده؟ اعمل لهم ازاي semantic categorization؟ رحت لاقي لهم حاجه اسمها lexical set، مجموعات لفظيه او semantic set الموضوعيه، يعني they have the same theme، they share the same theme كلهم aggression، في fighting، في hit، في hurt، في attack. تمام. طيب الwords بقى اللي هي connotations، لما يبقى الاسوسيشنز اللي انت مديها لي ملهاش علاقه، مش literal، ما هي لا هي synonymy ولا antonymy ولا اي حاجه من الحاجات دي، لكن هي حاجات figurative emotional personal and so on، هتبقى هنا connotations زي ما انا وريتك كده في in the previous slides. connotation دي والconnotation دي اهو اللي هي emotional and figurative meaning. قسمتها بس please let me see if things are okay with the mic. Yes, thank God. Okay. فأنا عندي مثلا connotations. لما أقول لك مثلا what comes to your mind when the word music is mentioned، فهتقول لي devil. أوبا، devil، واو، ايه علاقة music بالدevil؟ هنا connotation، religious connotation، ان احنا we associate music with devil. We consider that when many people in Egypt, by the way, many people consider that listening to music is not a religious act, and it's not, as long as it's not a religious act, it's something that's being whispered to us um, by the devil. The devil is pushing us to in this direction. طيب personal connotation، دور and عمين، ده حاجة بقى ما حدش يعرف يقولها غير اللي هي الشخص نفسها، فتبقى حاجة personal. Number 3 political. Yes, political. And he lies. What's the relationship between political and lies? Also connotation. No, because it's no, politics is a dirty game, as people say. Girl, and when I ask you what comes to your mind, the word girl is mentioned, only politeness، الأدب. ده social connotation، ده حاجة برضو حاجة girl ملهاش علاقة بالpoliteness linguistically يعني كده، قصدي literally ما فيش، لا هي الانتونيمي بتاعها ولا هي synonymy ولا هي أي حاجة. يبقى هنا علاقتهم بعض ايه؟ emotional، figurative، not literal، يبقى connotation. تمام؟ ده احنا عملنا كده، قسمنا الى form based responses والسنتاجماتيك اللي بيجوا مع بعض جنب بعض، والبرادجماتيك اللي السينونيمي والانتونيمي والهايبونيمي والسيماتيك لكسيكال سيتس، والكونوتيشنز بقى قسمناها للريليجيوس وبيرسونال وبوليتيكال وسوشيال اند سو اون. وكل الكونوتيشنز هي ايه؟ هي النون ليترال او الايموشنال او الفيجوراتيف meanings or associations of words. تمام، اهوت ده. خلينا يعني نقول today كده نشوف مثلا، عايزة اوكي نخلص ادى الوردز اهيت، وده بنبدأ بقى الريزلتس بتاعتنا اهو. ادى الفايف جروبس: النيتيف انجلش اللي هي جروب 1 عشان ما ننساهاش، first year English اللي خدوا الجروب بالسنة الأولى اللي خدوا بالتست باللغة الإنجليزية، جروب 2 باللغة العربية، جروب 3 fourth year باللغة الإنجليزية، جروب 4 باللغة العربية، جروب 5. أوكي تمام، دول الفايف جروبس بتوعنا. طيب الريسبونس بتاعتهم بقى ريزالتس هم. أنا عايزة نتكلم هنا شوية. بصوا احنا عندنا 48 stimulus words. اللي الاختبار كان مكون من 48 words اهو، 48 words، دول ودول ودول. اوكي all these words 48. تمام. طيب and results we find that group 1 as far as synonymy is concerned we find that group 1 اللي هم native speakers they come first. They come up with synonymous responses more than the other groups. Okay, the second group is fourth year in Arabic. تمام. The groups in the middle their responses were in synonymy were not were low, as you see here. What does this mean? It means that native speakers of English maybe they are their mental lexicon words are organized in terms of synonymy more than our Arabic mental lexicon. تمام. Antonymy هم برضو أكتر مننا. native English speakers they come up with 7 ودول ما فيش، ودول only 2 or 1. This means that برضو literal relationship denotational relationship is very strong, and people, native speakers of English, they think of opposites. They are not thinking unilaterally. On the other hand, our Egyptian participants, they rarely come up with opposites or with antonyms. You know, this means they are thinking unilaterally. They never look at different opposites of things. Okay, hyponomy. Okay, hyponomy only two. Hypernyms. Hyponomy هنا لما أقول green and light, green and black, black and white. دي hyponomy. الاتنين على نفس المسافة مع بعض، نفس الجروب، نفس members of belonging to the same category. And then we have hypernyms. لما أقول color and green، الcolor أعلى من الجرين يبقى hypernym عشان هو أعلى. الفور هم هنا كلهم they are equal، هم ما فيش مشاكل. اوكي، hyponymy عند النيتيف سبيكرز أعلى. اوكي، طيب semantic sets they are similar. Collocations. Our Egyptian learners are behaving in their association behavior. They have more collocations أكتر من native speakers of English. connotations. اوكي، هنا طبعا هنلاقي ان هنا النيتيف سبيكرز بتوعنا برضو اعلى اهوت. but anyhow the groups are similar to some extent. لكن first year English and first year whether in English or in Arabic, their connotations اللي هي الخيال بقى، اللي هي responses اللي ملهاش علاقة مباشرة بال stimulus word كان عندهم أكتر. Maybe they lack precision and they lack how to use words in a practical way, so they left their imagination to go wild and to come up with connotations. Semantic sets لقينا ان ايه ولادنا والايجيبشنز كانوا اكتر ناس جايبين بيضموا كل الكلمات كتير حاطينها مع بعضهم which belong to the same themes. اوكي، تمام. ده كلام انا شرحته هنا اهوت بقى. خلاص هنشوف بقى organization of mental lexicon form based اهو اتشرح كل ده برضو انا شرحته. كان في كلمة dating بس هنا هو اللي هي our students haven't understood this word، عشان كده عملوها كلمة موعدة وجابوا كلمة promise و promising و keeping the promise and so on. They misunderstand the word and this why their responses were not okay. نيجي هنا كلام أنا يعتبر هنا شرحته، بس هنا في بقى we turn the numbers into percentages. okay. This is برضو نفس الكلام. تعالوا نشوف الcollocations اللي هو المصاحبات اللغوية، الكلمات اللي بتيجي مع بعضها. هنلاقي ان مثلا across groups اكتر كلمات كانت الverbs وجوه كانت 11 verbs: anger و love و silence و initiate و sweep و house و reduce و criticize والكلام ده. ديت اكتر كلمات جابت collocations، يعني كان بيجي وراها كلمات، يعني من ادينا لهم الكلمات ديت الانجر ولاف وكده كانوا يدوروا على كلمه that can come before or after them. برضو عندنا الverb this is called verb advantage. برضو عندنا nouns such as environment, dating, girl, ruler, friend, and برضو come second. They prompt more more collocations. عندنا برضو الادجectives rich و cold و salty برضو ديت activate nouns جابت nouns معاها، وكل ده الاشكال من الcollocation مصاحبات لغوية كلمات تيجي جنب بعض. اوكي نيجي للconnotations. connotations ديت قلنا ان هي figurative و loaded و personal زي ما احنا شرحنا، حاجات كده شخصية وملاش يعني ما فيش علاقة، كلها خيالية و abstract ما بين ال stimulus word وال response word. تمام. هنلاقي ان زي ما احنا علقنا، تعالوا نشوف بقى هنا the top 10 stimulus words triggering most of the connotations across group. طيب هنلاقي في جروب 1 اكتر كلمات عملت يعني activate connotations كانت rich وكانت certificate و friend و table travel door girl diamond and so on. Group 2 house mother girl and so on. Group 3 certificate mother girl friend and so on. هنلاقي برضو the other groups نفس الكلام، فهنلاقي we find that girl here is activates most of the connotations on all groups. It's mentioned here in the first group, the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth. كلمة friend نفس الكلام، certificate, mother, music, education، يبقى هما نفس الكلام ده بس different يعني frequencies of connotations. تمام. وده معناه ايه؟ وكلمة black الcolors اهو معناه ايه؟ معناه 3 حاجات. تعالوا نشوفها بقى. اول حاجة first in most of the top 10 words evoking connotations in the internet occur across groups, which suggests that these are shared concepts and could be described as cross-culturally or cross-linguistically common. اوكي فكل ديت اهو كل الجروبات ديت نفس الكلمات هي تكاد تكون متكررة في اللي عملت arouse and activate connotations في كل الجروبس. ده معناه ان الافكار دهيت او الورز دهيت او الكونسبت دهيت فعلا بتولد بتستدعي connotations عند الناس بغض النظر عن الكالتشر بتاعي. اوكي طيب second اوكي second in Egyptian subjects in both Arabic and English tests reveals that color terms occur in all their groups, evoking substantial proportion of connotations. كان من الأكتر الحاجات اللي برضو evoking and stimulating connotations بالنسبة للمصريين كانت الcolor terms أكتر. يعني مثلا هنا في الجروب 1 اللي هي native speakers of English ما فيش black، لكن في black هنا، فيش white، فيش black هنا ولا white، فيش colors. لا هم كان عندهم colors، حبوا الكلمة الcolor names عندهم كانت بتفجر connotations كتيرة و figurative language و metaphors واستعارات يعني نماذج خيالية كتير. اوكي number 3 طيب ندي برضه هنا اهوت مديني مثال مثلا music. برضو الإيجيبشن كان عندهم religious connotations عالية. لما قلنا music قال لك being and religion، و health قال لك it's a gift from Allah you know. مثلا مش عارف ايه is a test from Allah. فهنا برضو كان religious connotations في الإيجيبشن groups كانت أعلى. اوكي طيب third number 3 in in the impact of our Egypt of Arabic was very clear in the categories of responses, and this means that برضو we cannot ignore the culture of the speakers in the associative